under-shepherd, Bishop D.D. Jakes, the eulogist. To the assembled clergy, I'm going to establish protocols, and therefore all of those of you who are assembled, and especially the Scotty, Allen, Lipscomb, Woolen, all the family, the family. It's good to be here today. I'm going to ask, I don't have the same thing that Fred Hammond has. I don't have them stories. I sure can't sing. But I'm going to just take a second to ask all the elected officials who are here today to stand as I conclude my few remarks. While they're standing with me, Scotty, I want to tell you, Cynthia was a mess. I don't care how I try to do this, we don't sing. Well, let me just tell you, she's leaving, but she's not saying goodbye. In 1971, Clifton Davis wrote a song. It's called Never Can Say Goodbye. And in that song, he wrote it for the Supremes. But Barry Gordon and Motown vetoed that. They decided that a little group known as the Jackson 5 would do better out. And we all know Never Can Say Goodbye. But what I came to tell you is when they released that on their Maybe Tomorrow album, it was their greatest hit. But just listen to the title of that album, Maybe Tomorrow. With Cynthia, and when you're in Christ, ain't no maybe. There is tomorrow. And we all know that. And so as a result, we come to celebrate with you and say with you, she's leaving, but she's not saying goodbye.
Hello, I am Valencia Nash McShann, privileged to be Judge Valencia Nash and honored to be which is Cynthia's first cousin. Her dad was my Uncle John, and my mom was her Aunt Gladys. They were brother and sister. We have a huge family, as you can see. But I had to be here to tell you my journey. Cynthia's fingerprints are all over my life, personally and professionally. Y'all know she went to Thurgood, and she would say, Valencia just want to be me. And y'all know nobody can be Cynthia Woolen Allen. But I am very inspired and admire her very much. And yes, I graduated from Thurgood just like she did. Became an attorney just like she did. Cynthia said, come travel with us. I traveled with her on her Fun Bunch cruises, and she was the life of the party. My cousin lived out loud. She was always full of joy, full of energy, and she had your back. So I know Fred said she had his back, but I think she had a whole lot of people's back. She was everything to everybody, and I appreciate all that she taught me, all of the knowledge she gave to me. I wouldn't be Judge Nash if it wasn't for Cynthia, and I'll tell you, when I was graduating law school, Cynthia, of course, helped me through my path, and when I had to come back home because my mom got sick, I didn't have a job. I was an environmental lawyer, licensed in Florida and Georgia, and Cynthia said, hey, she called Rhonda Hunter, I had a job. Next thing I know, when I got the Texas bar, I was like, nobody wants an environmental lawyer. Scotty and Cynthia opened their office. I had a job. She said, here are your cases, they can't pay. Yeah, they couldn't pay her fee. And she was telling me I better get the fee that I could. And I appreciate it. So long story short, as she would say, she said, Judge Steele is retiring. I said, oh, wonderful. She said, and I want that for you. I want you to be a judge. I want that for you. And I said, oh, do we just need to call Judge Steele? She said, crazy girl, we gotta call Judge Steele and Barbara. We gotta do both. And so again, that happened, and I became Judge Nash. So anyway, throughout my journey, Cynthia's been right there along the way. I appreciate all that she's given to me, and I would say to the family judges in here, I think y'all can understand clear and convincing. But I think the evidence is clear and convincing that Cynthia has danced her way right on into the heaven. And I will always remember all of the wisdom and all of the fun times we've had. So again, I'm crying like you're crying. My heart is broken, but don't cry long, because we have the evidence to show that the ultimate judge has made a decision to allow her into the heavens, and for that, I'm forever grateful. Scotty, to live on forever, family, stay encouraged.
Pastor, honored guests, Cynthia Allen spoke truth to power, and she always brought her most authentic self to every conversation she was a part of. I first witnessed this as a young lawyer at the Arts District Mansion in a family law section meeting. You see, the family judges had made some unpopular decisions in the administration of their courts. And most lawyers were not happy with those decisions, and they were all talking about it. But the time for the meeting came, and every lawyer, one by one, stood up to sing the praises of the judges. I think we know where I'm going. Enter Cynthia. She stood up, and you don't need to know all the details of everything, but the gist of her statements to the judges was, "What were y'all thinking?" I knew then that I would really like Cynthia Allen. Years later, when I became a judge myself, I knew that I could always count on her to give it to me straight. Understand that she didn't hesitate to tell us when we got it right, but she also told us when she thought we got it wrong. I hear about her ferocity in defending her clients, and you need to know that it didn't stop at each individual client. It moved into the profession, calling on all of us elected officials to be the best that we could be and to make decisions for the people who mattered most, the people who traveled through the courts. And that's exactly who Cynthia was. She was the one who was calling us to be better at our jobs and to be better at recognizing the people who are coming in front of us. But that's not all I have to say about her. She was generous in sharing the joy that she got from being with family and friends. She truly loved every single one of her friends and family. She shared the joy of her practice, and it was her joy. And she shared her joys of her past experiences. I know I'm not the only one who's heard about her work as a cowboy cheerleader. She also modeled the practice of a healthy work-life balance. She talked to us about how she took time off to spend time with friends and family, and I saw how hard she worked for her clients. Cynthia, we love you, and we will miss you dearly.
Good morning, my name is Cynthia Ermatinger. I hope I told her. There we go. I know there are many of us from the law that is here today, for strong women trans, I know are here, and all that love her are here today. I'm going to honor Cynthia, my beautiful, super fun friend. And I'm going to do it like a lawyer does and try to do a pretty good closing argument today. Only Cynthia would come into my courtroom with her sassy house shoes on. Y'all know it. She didn't have her robe on or curlers in her hair, but she just sashayed in saying, I wasn't supposed to go to court, but Scotty said, you want to go to Ellis County and see your friend. She forgot her shoes. I said, what are you doing? All the lawyers looking at her? You know what she did. She loved it. She loved her house slippers. She was comfortable, and she was here to work. Cynthia told me once that I had now girl power because she saw me on TV with the pearls hanging down. She goes, I was so proud sassy girl. I love that woman. I'm a crier. I told you, Scotty. She was so positive, fun, loud. Her laugh. She was so caring and sweet, and there was that little bit of sassy in her. She would tell it like it is. When I was running traps as a prosecutor or defense attorney, I'd have to go to George Allen. God forbid going over there, because criminal law was more my specialty. But boy, when she was sitting on the benches in the hallways talking to her clients or other lawyers, I was like, I want to be that girl. I don't think I can be that mean, but I like her sassiness. That's how we became friends. I started thinking about how long I knew her. I don't even know how we met. It must have been on a bench at one courthouse or another, and we just were good friends, and that's how all it was. She is a fabulous listener. She looks at you when you talk to her. She doesn't look around like anybody else. Do I need to talk to anybody else out there? She doesn't do that. She was always in the moment with you, and I love that. And we had many conversations, hallways of the courthouse, in the office of my bench, behind my bench. That's such a great quality for a person to just listen. We've got many great moments. We always, I'm going to say for 20 plus years, we'd be running the traps around the courthouses. Lunch today? Question mark. Lunch today? Question mark. Not too busy. I've got to go here. Got to run here. We were just running around. Maybe about a month ago, we were like, lunch today. She knew I was going to retire in December, and she goes, well, maybe we can do lunch then. Because we always seemed to miss it, because we were always so busy working. We were the kind of friends that just sat around and talked, or talked on the phone. I remember one day she came into my courthouse, just a bawling. I mean bawling. Didn't even matter in the court what everybody was doing, that she was just a crying. Couldn't figure out what was happening. I know it wasn't because she lost a client there. I mean, if they ran, she wouldn't cry on that. Maybe she'd have to call Scotty and say, one of your clients ran. But she was crying because she heard I had cancer. And boy, did she talk to me about how to fight it. I told her I was going to be fine, but she just kept crying. She goes, don't you ever miss a doctor's appointment? Don't you ever miss any of your procedures? You got to be okay. She said she's a caretaker also. And she said, make sure my husband understands that it's very hard for a caretaker. She worried about Scotty all the time. Talked about stories about Scotty. She was worried about her. And every time she would leave, she would say, please be well, because I don't want to lose you. We're both born in February, which is kind of weird. She's the older twin. She thinks we're twins. She thinks we're twins because Scotty had a trial, and his defense was identical twins. We laughed about that. We never saw that other identical twin. Cynthia said, we are identical twins, and we just got separated somehow. We had so much in common. We talked about high school. She was super popular, fabulous, the woman of the world. I was a nerd, taller than probably anybody in the school. But yet we both were senior officers the same year. I'm in Oklahoma, her in Texas, but she was the president, I was the secretary. But we loved being a leader, and we loved talking about all the things that we could do to make our world better and the law better. We decided years ago we were Well, thank you so much, Scotty, for asking me to speak. I love her. She's a piece of my heart.
Amen.